Choo listeners, welcome to the Everything is Fine, Nothing is Room podcast. I'm your conductor today, Hassan. Joining me, as always, is Tristan.
Sugar, sugar, choo, choo. I choo, choo, choose you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Folks, we're continuing our journey down these tracks that it's been a long one so far. When we set off on this journey, the
road.
Show that we started with was all done by hand.
Yeah.
All done by computer.
That's right.
We're about to cross
Yes.
quite the monumental milestone.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to cross over 500 episodes of everyone's favorite show.
Yeah.
That's right, folks.
Yeah.
We're continuing every episode, Thomas the Tank Engine. Tristan, let's hear it. Favorite episode, least favorite episode.
Was there ever 500 episodes of Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yes, there is.
Really? Yeah. Ooh, wow.
Uh-huh.
I have watched a lot of them as a kid. I was big into the one where that green tank engine gets like walled into the tunnel. That kind of started me off. But I was a bit of a weirdo, I think. Still am. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
The cantankerous tank engine gets stuck in there. Like, well, fuck him, I guess. They just board him up.
Yeah, I forget his name.
He's
It was like James. He was the red train.
James is all right.
Red
Yeah, I remember
version
James.
of Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, Thomas, he was an LB and SCR E2 class, while James was a Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway class 28.
Man, trains are cool.
You're not wrong.
I'm
They
not
are.
wrong. Trains are really cool.
Especially when
I
we
just
live in
have
a place that has no trains, really.
Well, we have some. I do encounter a train frequently, at least once a week, as I walk up the hill to work, so that's good. And it blocks my path for about 2 minutes. I go like, oh, come on. The fuck you, train.
Just hop on the train. That's how you live.
That's why I just started throwing bottles at it. I start carrying empty bottles.
You just start living on the railroads.
Mm-hmm.
Move from train to train.
Ooh, like a hobo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kinda.
okay. Stealing pies from windowsills. You live by the hobo code.
Do you think that was ever a thing? Pies on windowsills? I
Yeah,
just
no,
can't imagine
that was the thing. That totally was the thing. That's actually documented shit.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know why
yeah.
anyone would do that.
Look into the hobo code. There was actually like a code that depicted like there's going to be a pie on a windowsill, guaranteed. And it's just like, oh shit, this lady bakes pies and puts them on the windowsills. I'm gonna steal that pie.
That lady's dumb.
Yeah, well. Anyway, Thomas Tank Engine's pretty good. I don't know Jack Diddley Doodah about Thomas Tank Engine though. Sorry, everybody. I failed you again.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess episode over. Tristan, tell people where to find us.
Oh, cool. You could... we got like an hour more. Just want to sit here in silence for like an hour?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Like,
I mean, unless you know another show that's gone for 500 episodes, but...
only 500 episodes. I know one that's gone for longer.
Oh, really?
Gunsmoke.
We're definitely not talking about Gunsmoke.
We aren't? Oh.
No, the writing, that's terrible. Let's be real.
Fine, we'll talk about The Simpsons then. Jeez.
Yeah. All right.
Simpsons.
Yeah, season 23. 24? 23.
23 and then 24. Wow. 23 and 24 episodes. Seasons of The Simpsons. That's a feat of
Too
strength.
many.
Yeah. Some could say that. Hey, Hassan. The Simpsons has been around for at least 23 seasons. Isn't that exciting?
5.86.
5.86. Wow. Really? For this season? 5.86?
Yeah.
For season 23, 5.86. That's as high as you're going to go? That's low, really.
Yeah.
Do you recall what I gave season 22?
Yep.
Okay, because like I made a whole speech with in the last episode, but what this era is. It's a whole
I'm
thing.
still gonna go 5.86. All it takes is an 8 or a 7 here, and that bumps it up. You know.
No, that doesn't do it. There's too many episodes.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, let's hear it.
Season 23 gets the extremely fetid, squalid, disgusting 3.81.
Okay. That's...
Yeah, now we're in it. Now we're fucking in it. Ooh, it's muddy down here. You love the smell. It is wretched. It is here to just drag you into it further. Tendrils of disgusting, wretched episodes just tickling you until you go, ooh, what's that? And it grabs you and just down to the depths.
All right, that's so low. I kind of don't want to hear about it, but let's hear about the episodes you want to talk about.
Do you want the best or the worst first?
Bad?
You want the best? Okay, here we go. All right. The best episode. Because I'll have to clarify something as well. I'm going to be discussing 3 episodes today. And only one of them is the best. The best episode is season 23, episode 19, A Totally Fun Thing That Bart Will Never Do Again. 8 out of 10.
What? That title is awful.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, this is truly the best episode of this season. It is, I think maybe if a certain thing in history hadn't happened, I think that this would have been a lower rated episode. But the fact is, like, you know, it kind of comes off the back of a specific 2 to 3 years, some say it's not even really over, event in our lives.
The Dune movies?
The Dune movies, yes.
Because they're not over, you're correct. There's
Yeah.
still at least one more movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, Herbert West basically wrote, like, 50 million books, so, like, it's a lot of, yeah. I meant COVID, actually. So, yeah, the COVID-19 pandemic happened. This one kind of smacks a little bit of that, just a tiny little, like, it's in there. So this episode is basically Bart is having an existential crisis.
Bart is 10?
He's 10, yes. Bart is 10 years old, and he's having an existential crisis.
Not impossible, but very unlikely at that age.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like based around the idea that like summer is almost over for him, and like he feels like 10 is very old, and he's getting to a point where he hasn't experienced a whole lot in life. And again, he's 10. But leaving that aside,
yeah, no, Simpsons haven't experienced much, and
I don't know. Leaving that aside, he basically has this crisis. And he convinces Homer and Marge, his parents, to all take a cruise on like a little, like, you know, cruise ship line. And it ends up being the greatest time of his life. He loves this. It's so good.
Sure, yeah.
There's water slides.
Some
there's
people like
buffets.
cruise ships. Definitely not a me thing. I've never
same.
been on one, but I also would never want to be on one.
It seems all right. Like, it's
Actually,
just
sorry, that's a lie. I've been on like a river cruise.
Oh yeah. I've been on a few party boats.
Very different than a super cruise ship thing. You know, 40 stories tall or whatever they are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've done like the booze cruise kind of thing, but like it's, this kind of situation where like you're going to like on an actual cruise ship and staying there for like a week or two or whatever it is, and then redocking and heading home. That is something I don't really want to do. With that said, it's just a place to hang out with usually old people, so maybe that's okay. Yeah. Anyway, he likes this a lot, and he doesn't want it to end. And so he uses footage from a movie to broadcast a message from an admiral of the U.S. Navy to inform the boat that they cannot dock because there's currently a pandemic happening across America, and they may be the only survivors left who could not be infected. Therefore, they must remain on the cruise ship indefinitely.
Yeah, that's a totally possible thing. Cruise ships, vehicles, totally famous for not going through an insane amount of fuel, fresh water, food per day.
Yep, this is what happened.
Cruise ships totally just have months of supplies, and definitely not. They need to restock constantly.
Yeah, see, that's what Bart thinks. But he like you is actually he ends up being wrong, like what you suggested there. Because they very quickly, they rapidly run out of food and water and that kind of stuff. Within like a couple weeks. And Bart's still trying to make the best of it and still trying to pretend like this is the greatest vacation of his life. And it goes bad, and then they get lambasted and it's basically like lynch mobbed and all this stuff. It's great. It's an interesting episode, and it's kind of one about Bart getting his comeuppance for a bunch of bullshit that he tends to cause. Yeah. Solid episode. Good times, happy times. This is not why we're here.
Okay, let's hear why we're here.
Okay, I didn't actually ask the question.
Apparently, it's not Thomas the Tank Engine.
It's fucking not Thomas the Tank Engine. Fuck Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah, it's on. Thomas the Tank Engine is a good kind soul. He does not belong here in Simpsons hell.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
First off, before we get into the worst, how many 1s out of 10 do you think this season has?
Yeah, the fact that you're asking, it's multiple, so yeah. I'm still going to go a little conservative and guess 3?
Oh no. I wish it was 3.
Okay. Wow.
Multiply that by 2. There's 6 1s out of 10s in the season. Yeah.
You could have stopped.
I couldn't.
Right?
I could.
No
I was
had a
at
gun
this
to your
point.
head or
At
anything.
this point, I had the gun to my own head. Apparently, I can't. I could not stop at this point. There's nothing. I've done 23 seasons in. You can't stop this. This is a runaway train. There's no slowing down.
You could have called Thomas for help.
No, I couldn't.
They hook up and then they go in reverse and it stops the train.
Oh, I could have done that.
I'm
yeah.
90% certain I've watched an episode of Thomas the Tank Engine where that was a plot.
Yeah, sure. It's probably the case. That sounds like a decent plot.
Yeah.
But still, Thomas the Tank Engine is a toy train. This is unfortunately
No, he's a real train. What are you talking about?
a real toy train.
No, he's real.
I mean, yeah, he is. That engine does exist. Like they did build it and put a face on it. Like that is a kind of like with like, what was the fucking
Theodore Tugboat.
Theodore Tugboat? Yes, who got sold to somebody in Ontario, and they tore the whole thing apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, point is, this does not stop. Hitting season 3, this is what I described as the Dark Ages. Season 21 onward is the Dark Ages of The Simpsons. Until about like season 27, 28, 29. And that's only like glimmers of hope in those seasons. Otherwise, ooh, yeah. 23 though is not the lowest point, but it's damn near close. So 6 1 out of 10 episodes. I gotta talk about 2 of them because like I can't not discuss what I think are the 2 worst episodes of The Simpsons I have ever laid witness to.
Okay, let's hear them. So glad we're here.
So glad we're here. Do you want to start with the... do you want the guest star episode or you want the one about Mo? First.
Let's start with Mo, because I feel like that'll be worse than the guest star, so at least we're ending on a slightly higher note.
You got it. All right. Season 23, episode 12. Mo goes from rags to riches. Whew. Hassan, do you want to look at what this one's about? Because you'll never understand.
Jeremy Irons is in it, so... Yeah. How do you screw that up? He's Jeremy Irons. He's so good.
Yeah, he is. I love Jeremy Irons. You fucking give Jeremy Irons. Well, first off, Jeremy Irons is kind of like the main character of this episode because he does play the rag. What this episode? Yeah, what this episode is basically it's a historical retelling of the life of Moe's bar rag. Yes.
So somebody saw like a Twilight Zone episode or whatever where, you use a common object or a fixed object to tell sort of the history of a whatever it is, an area, a family, etc.
Yep.
And they looked at that and said, "Oh, we should do that, but with a rag, because that'll be funny."
Yeah, yeah.
And a room full of people didn't tell them, "No, that's not funny."
Yeah. So here's the worst.
You think that's a joke? Please leave. That's not a joke.
Yeah. Here's the worst thing. This is actually a retelling of like the entirety of Western civilization through the perspective of Moe's bar rag, who didn't start off as a bar rag. So the way this began, the rag starts off as demonically possessed wool that Marge weaves into this like tapestry. And then from there, it like gets more and more torn and all these things, and it starts going through like, oh, here's Les Mis a little bit, here's Napoleon Guerra, here's like the slavery, here's the. You just go through like Western history until you're at the very end. You end up in Moe's bar with this rag, who is Jeremy Irons. Now, here's the thing. This is not the worst premise I have ever heard. It could have been a fun experimental episode where you do some weird shit, see where it takes you. Maybe like, some jokes, but mostly it's about like, let's learn a little bit from this piece of cloth's perspective. And that would be fine if it wasn't so fucking boring and grating.
It could work if it was something other than a rag.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it could have. Yes.
I don't...
Yeah. Anything.
At a certain point, if you want to tell that story, just make it about the tavern itself and then just lie.
Yes, or stool.
Oh, hey, there was always a tavern in this location going back to the days of the Pilgrims.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got nothing on this. Again, just the concept of this episode and the idea of someone pitches it to a room full of other writers, and it somehow passed. Is sad.
Yep.
It's just sad.
Also, there's a B plot. It's about how Bart and Milhouse stop being friends for a bit. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
Haven't seen that one before.
No, they've never stopped being friends in past episodes. That's never been a thing. How dare you even think that it was? Fuck you.
Let's hear about the guest episode then.
So, here's the thing. The reason why this one is okay. This episode I'm going to talk about right now is regarded as the worst episode of The Simpsons ever.
Oh.
But I would argue that the most rags to riches than the Bar Rag episode is equally as bad, but for different reasons.
Can I take a guess on the episode? Because I read one of the synopses and I just went, wow, that just sounds so saccharine and bad. Is it the final one?
Oh, yes, it is, son.
Okay. Oh, man, I read the description. I just went, wow, that sounds...
it's not saccharine.
Really bad.
It's not, sweet law. Season 23, episode 22, Lisa Goes Gaga. It is about Lady Gaga coming to Springfield on the Gaga train. There's a lot of trains in this episode. What the fuck? She's on a train. It's like a bullet train. She's showing up with her Gaga train, claiming everybody is her little monster, and basically like she just can't impress Lisa for some reason, and Lisa's just like this, like, fuck you, Lady Gaga, you're stupid because I just want to like kind of be depressed and be on my own. I don't need you to tell me that I'm your little monster. Like, you lose, Lady Gaga. You lose. It's fucking. It's so.
Is this the like?
Yeah. Yes.
The first episode where the only way I can describe it is it specifically feels like it was written as if to promote the celebrity.
Oh yes, it was. It for sure was here to promote Lady Gaga.
Because obviously they've had very celebrity focused episodes, right?
Yep.
I mean, for some reason off the top of my head, there's the one where, George H.W. Bush moves next door.
Yep.
Is it? Or at least in the neighborhood.
Across the street. Yeah.
That's very centered. But that is an episode where it's not like it was trying to promote George H.W. Bush to make you like him and think he's cool. You also could substitute him out for anybody else, or it's just reading the synopsis of this.
The end.
It just feels like
a
bad commercial for Lady Gaga.
Pretty much. So like this episode comes out and it is about how awesome Lady Gaga is, and it's a full musical-esque episode with her singing every time possible. And it's
pop music?
Yeah.
That's not what the Simpsons musical episodes are supposed to be.
I know. It doesn't matter. It's their original songs.
Sure.
Or whatever. Yeah, and then like the whole episode falls on like the shoulders of Lisa, who, like I said, she doesn't care for Lady Gaga's whole like "you're my little monster" thing, because she's got like bad body dysmorphia and all this stuff. I mean, it's Lisa Simpson. She's a poster child for depression in this series, really. And like she does eventually come around, and when she realizes, I can't remember exactly what she says, but basically like there's a point where Lisa's like, I get it now. you're calling me your little monster to like kind of like boost my spirits. And Lady Gaga's like, yeah. And she's like, I still don't care, but I appreciate it. Thanks, I guess. And that's the resolution of the episode. And then they sing a song about like it's okay to, you know, be yourself but be sad, and you don't have to be anything for anybody else but your own person. It's again, this is we're in the season. My main season note here is basically like everything in this season feels a lot longer than it needs to be. And it's every time there is something on screen that's grating, for some reason it just feels like it takes like way too long. And like the worst thing is, I like Lady Gaga as an artist and as a person. She seems alright too. But this sucks. This sucks real fucking hard. Yeah.
Also, it's part of it. I think is also just that it's Lady Gaga, and with all due respect to Lady Gaga, she is obviously at the time a very big and popular artist, and is still quite the celebrity. But
yeah, she's a name.
This is 2012. I'd say she's still on the rise at this point. You know, she's
at that point
very popular, but what's going to be her legacy? TBD. You know, is she a flash in the pan? Whatever. But I think, you know, when I look at this in retrospect, it's like, yeah, I know Lady Gaga is popular, but like, in terms of her as a musician, she hasn't, as far as I'm aware, she hasn't left a mark on music. You know, when I think about some of the other celebrities they've had, and certainly problematic character, like Michael Jackson, that man left a mark on music. People,
I mean,
you know,
king of pop.
Modern day artists still point to him and go, yes, you know, I've been inspired by him and taken from him. There's like, is Lady Gaga somebody that people are trying to emulate currently, or that, you know, they're taking her musical styles and evolving it, kind of thing? Like, she kind of just strikes me a lot like something like the Backstreet Boys, where it's like very big, very popular, but just not really something in like 40 to 50 years we're going to be looking back and talking about in terms of like, this person who left their mark on the music industry.
First off, I would argue that the Backstreet Boys have left a pretty indelible mark in the music industry. At least like they began a pretty marked time in music history. But that aside, Lady Gaga, I would say, did do one thing with her career, which is like, I don't see anybody really emulating her style per se, but she did open up the door for a lot more like queer acts to kind of like make it in the music industry as like a mainstream thing. So there is that. Like, she did kind of like make that a thing. Like, she didn't necessarily push that forward herself specifically.
Yeah, I guess it's.
But it made it more normalized.
For like the level of having this episode just dedicated to you and all around, it's like, really, Lady Gaga? Like,
I know.
even in 2012, I'm sitting here going, feels like maybe a Beyonce or. I'm trying to think who else would have been like very big and popular at that time. But
Katy Perry's still around. Like, she's still a good career. Look, I agree. Look, dude, I agree. But she at least
I know you're a big American Idol fan, but
no. But no, like, so like at the same time, like Katy Perry and Lady Gaga are doing the exact same thing, different sounds, but like doing a lot of the same shit. And it's just like, well, one of them stopped around here, and then one kept going because like Katy Perry is still pretty big. She's not Taylor Swift big, but still, like that would have been the get though. Like get Taylor Swift on this show, because like she's still a massive influence.
Yeah, it's fair.
Anyway, this episode fucking sucks. Definitely watch it because it sucks that bad. Both these episodes are terrible for very different reasons. But like specifically this one, I think this one is at least the one that it's pointed out as the worst episode in Simpsons history. I don't necessarily agree exactly with that, but yeah, for sure, it has to be watched to believe. Wow, it's bad. Wow, it's so freaking bad. What's the episode you want to talk about, Hassan? You might accidentally choose a 1 out of 10.
I might.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say episode 8, which I don't even like saying the title because it sounds. I can only describe it as ethnic cleansing, but it's the 10% solution, which is just. The summary basically has it as, it's an episode where Krusty gets canceled because he feels outdated.
Yeah.
And the only thing I have to ask about or care about it is how self-aware is the episode. I'm going to guess not at all.
So season 23, episode 8, let's guess this is a 4 out of 10.
That's about right. Yeah.
So here's what I have to admit. I don't totally remember this one. I do. I remember this episode gets canceled. I can't recall how like I think I vaguely remember it being like not that bad as far as like the those aspects go.
Sure.
Despite what the episode is called, I do believe he goes on about like this being like an anti-Jewish thing or something. I think, but he does do that in a few other episodes later on too.
Yeah, no. All this says is that he has a lover named Annie Dubinsky.
Oh, it's this one. Oh, yeah, he gets canceled. But then like it's this. She's not a country singer. What is she?
It just says his original agent.
His original agent comes by.
The idea of here's this episode about this cartoon.
I can't remember.
That's in the same season it's hitting its 500th episode about how it feels out of date and should be canceled.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. While that's something that lasts around 500 episodes, should be just at some point just canceled or left in the dust or.
No, I should Thomas Stank Engine.
Yeah. You ever think about life? You ever think about life?
We'll die. The planet will die. But trains will still be there.
Trains will still be there. They're made of metal. They're going to outlast all of us. Most of them are cast iron, actually. The old ones were.
Traveling the space railway.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just floating it there, aren't they? Space trains. Yeah. Finally.
Anyway, season 24.
Yeah, buddy.
What was the score for last season?
For season 23?
Yeah.
3.81.
$3.71.
Ooh, lower? Ooh, I don't know. Season 24 doesn't have the worst episodes of all time on it. I don't know.
Yeah, but...
Yeah. Season 24 gets a whopping 3.9.
Okay, slight increase.
Well, yeah. It's not. It's still. Yeah. And here's the kicker with this one. Only has 3 1 out of 10s.
Woo!
Yeah, buddy. But here's the thing, though. The reason why it's so low is that every other episode pretty much fails to make it above 5.
Okay.
This
All
is
right.
probably the most forgettable season, except for one instance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, let's start at the bottom. What's the worst we got?
All right. Well, the worst we got. Now that's gotta be season 24, episode 19, with a 1 out of 10. Whiskey Business.
Okay. All right.
So it's another Mo episode. This one.
Oh, Tristan, I just saw the words.
Yeah.
Bleeding Gums Murphy hologram. Purple.
Yeah. Okay. That's not even the thing. Okay. First up. Okay. Let's break this down, because this episode, I think, is probably actually the worst episode ever of The Simpsons.
Okay. All right.
And here's the reason why. It has somehow taken every complaint I have ever had of The Simpsons and slammed it into one episode. Just fucking got in there. It's like, here it all is. Here is what we can do if you make us make the worst episode possible. Within that case, it's actually kind of watchable because they've got way too much going on. This is a great episode if you have ADHD because it's got fucking way too much happening. It has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 plots.
Okay.
Yeah, so you start with Moe's suicide attempt. That's a whole plot line. And then Bart taking care of Abe Simpson. That's a separate plot line. Doesn't go anywhere. There's Lisa's fighting the holographic advertisements of Bleeding Gums Murphy. That's a third plot line. And then there's a fourth plot line that kind of branches out into off of Moe, which is Moe becoming a distillation magnate. Like, turns out he's really good at distilling whiskey.
Whiskey, that thing that takes
Yep.
no time to produce.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here. Oh. All right. So first things first. Some of the complaints that myself and people have had about The Simpsons as the seasons go along is that The Simpsons has begun to, at some point, reference itself, because that's all it can do.
Fair.
This is emblematic of that complaint. Because the first thing we get as a big reference is a callback to the Capital City song from Dancing Homer, season 3. Just 2. Season 2 or 3. I can't recall.
Which one is that?
Capital City. Like they're driving to Capital City as he's because he's going to join the goofball and his mascot campaign. Like he's dancing Homer. Really? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, for some reason I can't remember that one.
Yeah, all right. The Bleeding Gums Murphy hologram sings Lisa's song. Like I'm the saddest kid in grade number 2 song.
Oh.
And that's the song they used to make the advertisement. This whole episode is basically Moe kind of sort of changing his name. And in order to make himself in order to pump him up, I guess there's technically a fifth plot. Marge actually gives him a suit, buys him a really nice Italian suit. And it's like, wear this and you'll feel better about yourself, kind of thing. And he does. Where have we seen that plotline before? Where Marge has something about clothing that makes people feel better about themselves?
Gotta be the monorail episode.
Sure. This is actually a callback to the Chanel suit episode. Because Moe also starts altering the suit. Because people start getting sick of it. And then on top of that, Mo sort of changes his name, which is a reference to the Max Power episode.
Yeah, his actual name is Moamar?
Moamar, yes.
Real name?
Yep. We
Okay.
also have a callback to the hot cold episode shower joke where like basically you turn the temperature on somebody and it's Homer in the shower and they just replay this joke. They just reuse it from like season 4 or 5 or whatever it is. So that's just wholesale taken from there. Yeah, this is a lot going on. A lot happening in this episode. It's depressing. It probably isn't actually the worst episode of the series. It probably is the Lady Gaga episode in its own way. But again, this episode just takes every complaint and just makes that happen in one microcosm. And it shouldn't be that way. The complaints should, I've seen these complaints because, okay, you're referencing yourself. Here are these jokes you're calling back to. Oh, look at that. They're pointing at the memes and going, look at this. We did this thing. All this stuff. Because the Simpsons have been on the air at this point, 24 seasons. What can it do besides talk about itself? And yeah, that's what happens. But at no point should it just go, fuck it, we ball, and do an episode where they do just put it all together like that. They say, here are all your complaints in one spot. We did it. But, they kept doing it, though, for their other episodes. The other episodes are all terrible in this same way. But this one seems self-aware of that fact.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the real problem with them, and we kind of talked about last episode, anytime they have callbacks now or referencing old stuff, it's just weird because these are characters trapped in time that can never truly progress forward. So it's that thing of, okay, this callback to something 10, 15 years ago it is weird. Like the Lisa upset about Bleeding Gums Murphy. It's like, well, to us, Bleeding Gum died 20 seasons ago or something. I forget what season that is, but I think it's one of the earlier ones. Two. Okay.
Yeah.
22 seasons ago. 22 years ago.
How long's that? Sorry, he died in season 4. My apologies.
4. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
or 6.
For Lisa, it can't have been that.
No. We're talking about they've lived the same year for fucking 35 years.
Yeah, and it's just, it gets weird to have this thing of this idea of oh, here's Bleeding Gums Murphy, this person who never would have been okay or aware or understood holograms. Well,
yeah,
kind of. If he died 20 years ago, sure, but he theoretically died a couple months ago. So no. This
the other thing is
you're trying to go for this, Tupac hologram, disconnect between the artist of that time and the modern time,
or Hatsune Miku, R.I.P. Hatsune Miku.
She's not dead, Tristan.
What?
Yeah, there's actually an anime coming out or something. It's weird. I
thought she was dead.
Yeah,
she's a hologram.
No, Domino's just stopped their partnership.
Oh, okay.
She's still totally fine.
I was about to pour one out for her, but okay. All right, cool.
No, you don't have to worry about that.
Anyway.
Have they had a Hatsune Miku in The Simpsons? Surely she's shown up.
Not yet. I think she's been referenced though. I'm pretty no. Right. So okay, comic book guy is married to like a Japanese woman weeaboo kind of person. And I'm pretty sure she's dressed as her at some point in the background. So
I'm sorry. Has that happened by season 24? Or is this a future thing?
A future thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
Well, we'll get to talk about that.
Yeah. We will.
Let's just hear what's the good episode.
Oh, okay. This actually is okay. Now, we are in the dark ages of The Simpsons, so... yeah. However, this episode is actually good. It is like, a totally fun thing Bart will never do again, and as an 8 out of 10. But I would argue that if I put them side by side, this one is slightly higher in terms of the execution and the way things go. Season 24, episode 21.
I was actually going to guess that just because Segura Ross was in it.
Yeah.
It's like, it'll probably be an alright episode.
Yeah, the Saga of Carl. So, 8 out of 10. Because, yeah. Sigur Rós does the music entirely in this episode, besides the couch gag, obviously.
Okay. All right.
This episode fucking rocks because it's very out of nowhere. So Homer, Barney, Moe, well, technically not Barney, but I think he actually does chip in. But so Homer, Moe, Carl, and Lenny all buy a lottery ticket, and that ticket is like the number one winner, and they have like $10 million. Carl fucks off with the ticket. Takes it and goes.
Look, there's an elephant in the room I feel like you're really trying to delay getting to.
Yes, I am. What's the elephant do you... What elephant do you see as son? There's no elephant here.
That somehow... The like... there's only like 2 or 3, I think. One of the 2 or 3 recurring black characters in the show, they made him Icelandic, and somehow that's just never come up in conversation of the 24 seasons of this show up until this point.
So, yeah. Turns out that Carl Carlson is Icelandic.
Which is fine, but it's like... We had 24 seasons of this show, and at no point, like, I get it. It's because it didn't exist before this episode, but just the retconning of like, oh yeah, no, Carl's adopted parents were Icelandic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. So yeah, Carl was adopted by Icelandic villagers.
Yeah. I don't know, that'd be a real weird thing to just drop on this character after all this time.
I mean, it is, but it does work. Kind of. I guess. Okay, so this is going to get into a weird parallel because there's a future episode that kind of does the same thing as this, but fucking moves it around. And this is, I gotta point out, Carl is still currently voiced by, I believe it's Hank Azaria. So Carl is still currently voiced by a white man as of this episode. Later on, they change things up, and black characters are going to be voiced by black people. They still have done Apu dirty because he has not had a voice actor since season 27. They just kind of killed him off in the background. He's not dead, but he's around. They just don't voice him. It's sad. They could have just hired a Indian actor.
Nah, never find one of those.
No, there's no Indian voice actors anywhere. Those don't exist. No. Anyway, this episode is a lot of fun. It tackles a weird thing that Carl kind of struggles with his white heritage. Yeah. And the fact that he was the only black kid in Iceland. So, I mean, yeah, fair enough.
My complaints about it are not that any of this sounds bad. I actually think that this is somewhat of an interesting concept.
Yeah.
It's that it's happening 24 seasons into the show.
Yeah.
It's just like, guys, we have seen so many episodes with this character, and none of this has ever
Not at all.
surfaced or been reflected in
No.
his personality or his
Nope.
moments in the show. And
Nope.
so it just feels
Yep.
insane.
I will point
Dump
out,
this.
I will point out, like I said, as a parallel to this episode, later on, they do one where Carl has to kind of tackle like what it means for him to be black as well. Because he's had this white heritage, right? He's lived his life like kind of in the shadow of white people, but sort of as a white person in that sense. And I am the last person that should be talking about this, but I am. And later on, there's an episode where basically he tries to rediscover what it means to be a black person, despite the fact that he has been, living as a white guy for like a while. Like, obviously he's black, but like he's more white mannerisms and that kind of thing. It's a whole thing. We're not here to discuss that just yet. Maybe we will when we get to season 34. Or is it 35? 34. Yeah.
You could have quit, Tristan. You could have quit.
Again, runaway train. I could not quit. There's no quitting at this point. You are
just taking him a junction.
No, you don't get it. Once you hit 24, you're like, oh shit. Like 35 is the season that's currently airing. Realistically, I just got to get to season 34, and that's not that hard. I can do that. I'm not saying I'm a smart man. I'm not saying that at all. I should have quit. I'm not.
Yeah.
No. Obviously, I did this.
All right. Anything else you want to say about that episode?
It's good. It's actually just a fun, good episode. It's got a really cool thing. Like, again, they're hunting down Carl to try and like find out why he took off with their ticket, and he has got this whole thing where he's just trying to like he needs to pay homage to like his parents and how they're poor. He wants to give them a good life, and it's like it's actually a really sweet episode. Give this one a watch because I think it's a good diamond in the rough episode. Like I said, most of the episodes in season 24 do not make it above 5 out of 10 at all. Like, not many of them break par. But here's this one episode where it goes like, you know what? We got something to say with this. And they do a good job. I think it's a solid episode.
Okay. Are there necropants in it?
No, there's not. Oh, they should have brought in necropants.
Yeah, that's not.
Sorry, you know what?
And,
1 out of 10.
They dropped,
1 out of
10.
10.
1 out of 10. They dropped
Sorry,
the ball.
Yeah. I know they did. Yeah. Anyway, what episode do you want to talk about, Hassan?
So I want to talk about season 24, episode 9, Thomas Not So Lucky Day. When Thomas has a run of bad luck in Italy, he tries everything to get back on track, even if it means following Lorenzo and Beppe's strange superstitious advice. However, Gina, Esther, and Mia explain to Thomas that superstition isn't real and that he had to be positive and focus on being on track.
I will point out there are only 22 episodes in the season of The Simpsons, not 29.
No, sorry, season 24, episode 9.
Episode 9. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. See now, okay. I don't think you're reading the right synopsis. I'm pretty sure you're reading the wrong synopsis.
No, definitely looks like the right one to me. Thomas and Friends.
No, we're here. We're still talking about The Simpsons. Actually, I think you were in denial.
Nah, I don't think so.
I thought I was the broken one.
Oh, no,
I still kind of am, but well,
so there is one episode I do briefly want to touch on, and
Sure.
it's nothing to do with the plot or anything else. It's actually episode 22, Dangers on a Train. And it's because Seth MacFarlane does a voice, huh?
Yeah.
I just assumed that
you chose a theme, didn't you?
Well, I was gonna say I assumed that the Simpsons writers kind of had like a rivalry going with Family Guy, and I guess that must not be the case if they have Seth MacFarlane on doing a voice. I guess there must be maybe a friendly rivalry.
There is. They're still friends.
I don't know. I kind of assumed that there was a certain sentiment of just like,
Nope. No,
screw those guys.
Nope. They do a
We're gonna be on top.
In about 2 years, they do a crossover. So,
You could have stopped, Tristan. We don't have to experience
I
these
keep
things.
explaining. I do. Like, look. This is not even as painful as trying to get through like the last 2 seasons of Young Justice. That was agony. This at least I can kind of
only have 1 season, so I don't know what you're talking about.
fair enough. Yeah, there's only 1 season. One very long season that lasted 4 fucking years. Danger on a Train. Yeah.
I'll give you honest. The summary of this sounds stupid and awful. It was just seeing Seth MacFarlane as a character that went, that's Now, does he do like not necessarily a Peter Griffin voice, but does he play up the New England voice at all, or is it just his regular talking voice?
It's mostly his regular talking voice, but it's a little bit played up. Yeah, he's all right in this episode. Barely noticeable, to be honest. 6 out of 10. Like, it's their 10th wedding anniversary. Marge signs their 5 couples looking for extramarital affairs. Oh yeah. Basically, it's a whole it's like a weird key party thing on a train. But like the trains. Okay, the train thing is interesting. God, you really chose a theme in this episode. So the train thing is pretty good because. So the train has nothing to do with this episode, as far as like this. They're not on a train, not this kind of thing, but there is specifically this train, this like kind of like this kids train set, like not like a small toy set, but like a rideable train set that Marge has this kind of like love for, because it was like one of the very first things that her and Homer like kind of like saw and like thought that was kind of cute and fun and funky. And like Homer remembers this, and so his whole thing is he has found this train set and is restoring it in the garage.
Okay,
but
so like
to do so,
what are we talking? Like a GNR Class N2?
It kind of looks like a Thomas Thing engine train, really.
Like a BR Standard Class 4264T?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that would look cool.
Yeah, with three cars behind it too.
Okay.
Yeah, nice track. Yeah, so basically, like, Homer spends the entire time trying to restore this train, but he's kind of turning a blind eye because, like, Marge thinks that he's just ignoring her, and she's like, "Oh my God, our marriage is in the can," and she's having this really hard time because she just needs to reach out to somebody and like just talk. But Homer is being distant because he spends every waking moment of his life fixing this train to surprise her with it. And Marge basically goes and tries to have a bunch of affairs, like key party shit, but like she fails because she's very loyal to Homer, but she's like sort of trying to like put herself out there. But at the very end, it's like Homer has built this train and like made the track go around the house, and kind of like comes around the house riding the train with the kids. And Marge's like, "This is what you've been doing. This is the greatest thing in the world." And it's actually like a solid moment. Like, it's a really good moment in a 6 out of 10 episode, which is kind of why it's a 6 out of 10. But because the rest of it's like kind of like whatever, it fucking sucks. But yeah. But this one moment's pretty good. But yeah. So good Homer Marge scene. Got trains in it.
Yeah. Trains are cool.
Trains are cool.
More train episodes.
Yeah. Go train, go. Yeah, so that's season 24. I mean, it sucks. Season 23 and 24 both are terrible. And there's nothing that can take that back. It's the next episode we do. I do have to do another sidebar episode, like inside this episode, because like I said, there was a crossover with Family Guy.
could have been talking about trains, Tristan. We could have been talking about trains instead.
Yeah, we could have. I know. We could. I chose wrong. I could
Yeah.
I could have been discussing a show with lovely British trains that had both
Actually, it goes all over
Ringo.
the world.
Oh, fair enough. That had both Ringo Starr and George Carlin in these shows. I could have been discussing that. I love those guys. No. No, here we are discussing the fucking Simpsons. Yeah. I chose poorly. Or did I?
No, you did.
Yeah, at this point I'm the lucky soul that got out of this whole thing unscathed for the most part. My psyche may be a little bit scratched, but I think I am, for the most part, maintaining my sanity. That said, seasons 25 and 26 really fucking tested that.
Oh, it gets worse, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Hassan. Yeah. Here's a fun little fact for you, Hassan. Season 23, which so far is the lowest rated season of everything we've done so far, 3.81. That's not the worst season.
Yay!
Yeah. And it had the Gaga episode and the Bar Rag episode. Now, worst season is coming up next time we do this.
I feel like we could have been talking about trains. It's going to become my catchphrase now.
Yeah, it's a good catchphrase, actually.
I'm going to be constantly saying it.
We could have been talking about trains. You know what? Fucking run with that. That's good. We could have talked about
Russia Sentai Tokuger is real good.
I bet. Yeah, you know what? I recall that one. Yeah, that one did sound pretty good. That sounded like a much better use of my time than doing this.
Yes.
Again, here I am. I more train analogy. I have passed through that tunnel though. I am on the other side. You all are the cars. Your carriage at this point. You're with me. I've already passed through, and I can tell you it's brighter on the other side. Way brighter. No, you know what's a nice feeling, Hassan? Sitting down on my couch and not having to turn on Disney Plus and go to the Simpsons section to watch a bunch more episodes and fucking take notes. It feels so good to watch anything else. Even though
fix that.
Yeah, I mean, there's still another season coming out this year, so like I'll still be watching that. I'm now caught up, so I might as well watch the new stuff.
Tristan, why would I tell people where to find us?
Mental asylum. I'm going to be in a hospital testing, make sure I don't have any sort of... Anyway, you go to our Twitter page, which is at EIFNAR. Elon Musk, you can go fuck yourself. Twitter it is. Go there and yell at us about how much you loved trains. Actually, yeah. You know what? We could have been talking about trains. Go to our Spotify, iTunes, and any place you can catch pods with your pods catching mitts. To catch this podcast and listen to it, you can go there. That'd be great. You can also go to our iTunes. Geez, you can go there anyway. But go to our YouTube page, and like, we're here with video. You can watch the video. You can see my face as I explain these horrible things to you. And you can like click on my face a bunch of times and make the video stutter. That's really funny. If you wanted to, you can slow this video down and like make this a longer experience for you. And that would feel about as long as watching season 23. To me. But you go there, click a bunch of buttons, subscribe and stuff. You just mash your palm if you got a phone. If you're watching this phone, just mash it. It'll hit something. What's up?
Tristan, I don't.
Yeah.
When I said tell people where to find us,
yeah,
I meant like how to get here.
Oh.
So, all right. Well, okay, folks. So you're going to want to get on the Elizabeth line at Slow Station.
Yeah.
And then you're going to take that all the way to Canary Wharf. Which from there you're going to get. Well, you're going to want to then get onto the District line, and you'll take that all the way to St. James Park.
Okay. I don't. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Where do you think we live?
In England with Thomas.
We definitely live in England with Thomas. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good.
We hang out with Ringo Starr all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. We do. Listener, don't worry. He's my co-host. I got him. There's a shed I can take him behind. It's fine. You should go to our friends at DJing.com. Listen to his great music, and I don't know. You can have him ride the line to Canary line all the way down to
Elizabeth line from Slow to Canary Wharf.
Whatever you want. You know what? Just ride a train with our good friend DJ Dane. Yeah. Just ride a train with them. See how that goes. Well, that's pretty chill. Pretty good time. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for our show. Tune next for another episode of Everything's Fucking is Ruined. See ya.